named young Orlando, a sprightly boy who wants nothing more than to be the tough foreigner murdering killer his father, and his father, and his father, and his father. Well, you get the picture.
Die, motherfucker, die!
Alas, he could not spend all his time fiddling with such childish toys. He had other things to tend to, like meeting the Queen.
Off to see the Queen.
Although a little late, Orlando finally got to meet the Queen.
I'm the Queen.
As he handed her the rose water, Orlando could see the beauty of her old, wrinkled hand. So slender and beautiful, he completely forgot about the fact that she's fucking old and disgusting.
Nice hands, baby.
Nevertheless, the Queen noticed Orlando and was enamored by his youthful beauty. If we didn't mention this before, Orlando is a beautiful, beautiful boy.
I'm sexy and I know it.
After spending lots of quality time with the Queen, Orlando is bombarded with gifts and titles.
I name you Treasure.
Alas, Orlando's sprightly young body yearns for something more, and being the stupid child he was, he gets caught making out with a local hussy, all while bitching about gender roles or something like that.
As an Elizabethan man, it's good that I'm macking all these bitches, am I right?
Orlando! No!
After his tryst with the Queen, Orlando then spends a bunch of time validating himself and hanging out with the plebeians because he resents being born rich.
I resent being born rich. I'm gonna go hang out with you plebeians.
Then finally, he realizes that he liked his life, fuck the poor, and goes back to his easy life.
I miss my easy life.
After his time on the streets, Orlando does what every good Elizabethan man should do. He begins looking for a wife.
I need a wife.
We're single.
No.
Oh.
Then came the Great Winter. Honestly, it may just have been a cold winter, but this guy is so dramatic, we'll go with what he says. Anyway, back to the Great Winter. Yes, the Great Winter hit, and a grand party was thrown on the ice. Who slides by Orlando but the beautiful Princess Sasha, who at the time Orlando was unsure was actually a woman, but honestly it should have been obvious. Anyway, one can only expect what's gonna happen.
Damn, Sasha, you so beautiful. Thou hast respect. I lust after you.
Thank you.
But unfortunately, all this lust throws him into a deep, deep depression.
I'm real depressed. Damn. What is life anyway? Death is inevitable, and I haven't even lived. Oh my god, my girlfriend's such a crazy bitch. She never tells me anything.
So Orlando plans once again to meet Sasha and completely ignore every revelation he's ever made while bitching about life.
You know what? I'm gonna go find Sasha, because she's so beautiful. Yeah! Oh my god, where'd Sasha go? Where is she? My love!
Unfortunately, Sasha never showed. In a fit of rage, Orlando takes off to the coastline where he spots her ship sailing away, cursing her as she leaves.
Is that Sasha's ship? Fuck you, you fucking bitch! Come back! Bitch, I'ma slap you! Where the fuck you going?
In the depression after the departure of his dear love, Orlando sleeps for weeks on end. When he finally awakens a week later, he discovers a deep love for literature and spends all his time moping, pacing, and writing and being angsty, and I think you get the gist. As Orlando is learning about the immortality of love in literature, he meets Mr. Green.
Why are you in my house? I'm the fairy godfather of literature. Cool.
Upon speaking with Mr. Green, Orlando begins to realize that the image of a rich and flamboyant philosopher is in fact not what a poet is. The two strike up a friendship and live together for a few months.
Wanna move in? Sure.
After a few months, Mr. Green writes and creates a spoof of Orlando's life that once again throws Orlando into a deep depression where he announces that he's now done with men.
What you holding there, Mr. Green? Hey, it's your life. Ah, you're pathetic. Fuck you, man. That's so mean. I'm so done with men.
After sulking for a while, Orlando decides to throw a big-ass party to make himself feel better.
I'ma take a trip everywhere.
During the party, though, he realizes somebody has been watching him and goes off to find them.
Who's watching me over there?
Finally, he meets Archduchess Harriet Griselda, who he quickly realizes is way too off her fucking rocker to deal with.
Hi, my name's Orlando. I want 3 kids. Nope.
No, they're gonna be named Jeremy and Hillary and...
This goes on for a few months, and finally, to save himself, Orlando moves to Constantinople and is made ambassador by King Charles.
Bye. I'm in Constantinople. I'm an ambassador.
After more time in Constantinople, Orlando is promoted to Duke.
I'm Duke. Yay!
He then throws another rager party.
Alright, I'm really tired. Everybody leave. Time for bed.
Orlando then falls asleep for another very extended period of time, during which the Turks invade. And his maid finds a marriage license to a gypsy, because, you know, he had time for that too. Finally, Orlando awakes, and he awakes as... a woman!
What?
Orlando then goes on to live as a gypsy for some time.
I'm a gypsy, I'm a gypsy, I'm a gypsy, I'm a gypsy, I'm a gypsy.
But eventually, he becomes bored and goes back to England.
Fuck gypsies. England!
On the boat back, Orlando realizes just how difficult a woman can be as she attempts to adjust her dress in front of the working men.
Stop looking down my shirt!
What up?
Upon arrival, Orlando realizes all of her possessions have been confiscated now that she's a woman, and women obviously can't have possessions.
No, give me my stuff back! No, 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 no!
Anyway, in the heat of this disaster, Orlando meets up once again with the Archduchess, now the Archduke.
Hey, baby.
Hello!
Intercourse ensues. And suddenly, the 19th century begins. After some time back home, Orlando begins sulking about, basically realizing that England sucks.
The Queen's pregnant.
What?
After hearing the news, she walks about. Orlando sees nothing but wedding rings and couples, no doubt a sign that the new Victorian ways of being a woman, being married with children, is putting pressure on poor Orlando.
Ooh, look at that cloud. It looks like a wedding ring. And that one looks like a monogamous marriage. And that one looks like lots of babies. Yay!
In order to make herself feel better, Orlando goes off to buy a ring, but suddenly falls down and breaks her ankle.
La 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 la. Shit, motherfucker!
Suddenly, she's greeted by a handsome man on horseback,
Hello.
with an impossible to pronounce name, and carried off only to marry him basically a few minutes later.
Let's get married.
Okay.
Now this man, whom she calls Shelley, is such a good listener and understands her so well that they celebrate by having sex. Literally, always.
I had such a bad day.
Oh, baby, that's too bad.
Oh, you're such a great listener to me.
Basically, a year passes and nothing happens, until suddenly Orlando begins writing again. Completely convinced that her whole life will change, she is completely surprised when nothing happens.
Life's so boring.
So instead of thinking anymore, she hops on a train, a recent invention that she's been totally unfazed by. She then wanders around London for a while before running into Nick Green.
Oh my god, hi, how are you? Hey, how are you doing? Poetry, 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 poetry. Here, let me take your poem and I'll get it published.
Thank you. La-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da.
After discussing the ins and outs of poetry and all that crap, Nick decides to take her poem to get it published. Not much is really heard for him for basically the rest of the story, and he completely neglects to acknowledge the fact that Orlando is now a woman. More time presumably passes, and suddenly, poof! Orlando is pregnant.
Babies!
More time passes, and it's now the year 1828. We aren't really sure how time's working, but we'll go with it. Orlando is in a department store and sees a woman who very closely resembles an ugly Sasha.
Damn, you ugly bitch.
And suddenly it's the year 1928. The story basically ends with nothing making sense anymore, but hey, Orlando has learned to be happy as both a man and a woman.
Woo! Penises and vaginas!
The end.